Whispers from the deep. If you've ever felt a shiver when looking at a rusty door that had been locked for thousands of years, imagine a more spectacular version, a mechanical door lying at the bottom of the ocean, sleeping for 2 millennia, only to be accidentally opened by a fateful dive. This is not a plot from a Dan Brown novel, but the true story of the Antikythera Mechanism, an ancient artifact that has shocked both the archaeology and science world. The unexpected, fateful dive. In 1900, a mild spring began on the Dodecanese islands of Greece. Turquoise waters enveloped the small island of Antikythera, home to just a few dozen residents and almost forgotten by the outside world. On a small, rickety boat, a group of sponge divers from the island of Simi were making their annual journey in search of sponges, the soft gold of the Mediterranean. Leading the group was diver Elias Stadiatus, a weather-beaten man known as the fisheye of the Aegean Sea. On a misty morning, Elias donned a thick glass mask, tied lead blocks around his waist, and plunged into the clear waters northwest of Antikythera. As his body sank into the darkness of the deep, what he saw was beyond anything he had expected. About 43 meters below, the faint light from the sun filtered through the water and fell upon a strange sight. Rotten wood, broken masts, scattered amphoras, and bronze statues that glistened with moss. Elias rose to the surface in a panic and whispered to his crew, "There's a wreck. There are bronze men down there. The ghost ship and the cursed treasure." Over the following months, the divers returned to the area with support from the Greek Navy. They gradually salvaged dozens of precious artifacts, statues of the god Hermes, horse heads, bronze nudes believed to be warriors or gods. People began to call it the Antikythera treasure ship. But the strange thing was, everyone felt a strange obsession around the things recovered from the wreck. One diver was trapped underwater for too long and died of barometric pressure. Another disappeared while swimming into the rocks, looking for remaining debris. Some nights, the wind howled in wailing tones, and islanders swore they heard a rattling sound like gears turning from the ocean floor. Rumors spread quickly. Some said the ship belonged to a mystery sect that had been persecuted by the Romans. Others believed it was carrying treasure from Atlantis, fleeing before its destruction. And then, a special artifact was pulled up, a small, rusty, corroded block of bronze, seemingly worthless, but hidden inside was a machine that transcended the ages. A forgotten object for 50 years. The machine, still not known by the name Antikythera, was transported with other artifacts to the National Archaeological Museum of Athens. Because its exterior was so rusty, no different from a piece of scrap copper, it was classified as waste. No one bothered to study it in depth. Time passed. World War I broke out, then World War II, and Europe was in turmoil. For half a century, the rusty block of bronze lay quietly in a dark warehouse, no one suspecting that it contained one of the greatest mysteries of mankind, until a chance glance from a young archaeologist changed everything. The machine awakens, when ancient gears begin to speak. In 1951, Derek J. DeSala Price, a physicist from Yale University, was drawn to an unusual piece of bronze during a visit to the Athens Museum. He asked permission to take it out for an X-ray, and what he saw stunned the academic world. Underneath the rust was a complex system of gears, not just one, but dozens of bronze gears cut with incredible precision. Some had 15 teeth, some had more than 100. They meshed, rotated in a system, and created circular motion like a giant clock. A mechanical computer built in the 2nd century BC. Scientists couldn't believe their eyes. At the time, they believed that sophisticated gear technology had only first appeared in Europe in the 14th century, with church clocks. So what was Antikythera? Was it a lost monster of history, or evidence of a golden age of technology that had been wiped out? Letters from the dark. Another twist came when experts used a powerful light to shine on the surface of the relic. Underneath the oxidized layer, ancient Greek writing appeared, not prayers, but instructions. The inscriptions recorded how to adjust the dials, the phases of the moon, the position of the sun, and even the movements of planets such as Venus and Jupiter. There was even a reference to the Saros cycle, used to predict solar and lunar eclipses, an extremely advanced astronomical knowledge that the ancient Greeks should not have had. More than 3,000 characters were hand-carved, extremely detailed, meticulously, as if the creator knew that this machine would be buried by time, and they left a message for posterity. The Forgotten Island, the gateway to lost knowledge? Antikythera, the small island where the machine was discovered, suddenly became the center of attention. Teams of divers, archaeologists, historians, and even monster hunters flocked to it like moths to a flame. It was discovered that the ancient ship may have set off from Asia, stopping at Rhodes, the ancient scientific center where the school of mathematician Hipparchus, the first person to accurately calculate the distance between the Earth and the Moon, existed. Was the Antikythera Mechanism his work, or that of an unknown student forgotten by history? There are even more bizarre theories. Some scholars believe that the island of Antikythera may hide the remains of an ancient observatory, or even a knowledge relay station between human civilization and another entity. A question echoing from 2,000 years ago. From the depths of the sea, a broken ancient device, thought to be just an anonymous piece of iron, spoke, and its voice stunned the world. The biggest question is not who created it, but why? Why was a device that transcended time hidden, without copies, without inheritance, without mention in history books? Are we just discovering the surface of a huge network of ancient knowledge, while the rest is sleeping under the dust of time? Or is Antikythera the only remaining fragment of a lost civilization that, with just a little luck or one unscathed shipwreck, could have propelled humanity into the technological age 2,000 years ago? Chapter 2. A Machine from the Future? Imagine you're lost in an ancient museum, where everything belongs to the past. Ceramic vases, statues of gods, carved stone relics. But right in the center of the room, there's an object that seems to not belong to that era. Exquisite bronze gears, meticulously engraved astronomical indices, and a complex moving mechanism that looks like it was manufactured by a 21st century engineer. That is the feeling that the Antikythera Mechanism gives to anyone who sees it. The machine should not exist. Scientists call this phenomenon an anomaly, a historical anomaly, because when modern mechanical models, such as the first mechanical clocks, were invented in Europe in the 14th century, the Antikythera Mechanism had been lying deep at the bottom of the sea for more than 1,500 years. An unexplainable technological gap. When more detailed X-rays were made, it was discovered that Antikythera had at least 37 gears, each cut to micrometer precision, perfectly aligned in a coaxial and concentric system. Just a little deviation and the whole system would not work. And the strange thing is, such precision metalworking techniques should not have existed in ancient Greece. The blueprint of a genius mind. A classic hypothesis has been put forward. Could this be the final work of Archimedes, the 3rd century BC genius of physics and mechanics? He had created defensive devices for Syracuse that terrified the Romans. Flaming mirrors, steam hoses, even giant arms to drag enemy ships into the sea. But Archimedes died about 100 years before the ship carrying Antikythera sank. So if not him, then who? Who had the vision, skill, and audacity to create an object thousands of years ahead of its time? Some eccentric scholars, or were they the brave ones, have theorized that the Antikythera Mechanism came not from the past, but from the future. Ancient computers, or time travel devices. Don't laugh. The theory of time travel, even science fiction, has always haunted the human imagination. But when placed next to Antikythera, the theory is no longer completely far-fetched. A number of independent researchers have discovered that Antikythera not only simulated the cycles of the sun and moon, but could also predict astronomical phenomena with astonishing accuracy, including the positions of the planets in the geocentric system, the Metonic cycle, 19 years, and the Calyptic cycle, 76 years, used to calculate precise calendars, the Saros cycle, which was used to predict solar and lunar eclipses, What's more, the gears on the back of the mechanism also have a ring that divides a year into 235 lunar months, something that was only rediscovered in Europe in the 19th century. So how do the ancients know about these complex cycles? Some believe that this is a replica of a device from the future, found or passed down through accidents. A time traveler? A civilization that crashed into the ancient world? Aliens, Atlantis, and shaky connections. Of course, supernatural theories are inevitable. Some outside the mainstream, researchers believe that the Antikythera was an interstellar navigation device, built by aliens or gods who descended upon the world in ancient times. They cite the grooves, astronomical symbols, and mechanical mechanisms of the machine that can simulate the movement of planets in nonlinear time, something that even modern technology rarely does with mechanical devices. Some scholars even link Antikythera to Atlantis, the lost civilization mentioned by Plato. Perhaps the ship carrying the machine was the last refugee ship from Atlantis, drifting and sinking on its final journey, carrying the secrets of an entire era. These associations make people shudder, because if true, what wiped out an entire advanced civilization from human history, leaving only a lonely mechanical fragment at the bottom of the ocean, a lone intellect, or the pinnacle of a lost system? This is the question that gives scientists the most headaches. If Antikythera was just a single invention, it is hard to believe that it was so complex and sophisticated. On the other hand, if it was the product of a highly developed mechanical knowledge, why are there no copies, records, or similar products left? This opens up two possibilities. The entire knowledge was destroyed as Alexandria was burned down along with millions of ancient manuscripts. It was never disseminated, but was kept in the hands of a small group, secret scholars, a secret scientific society, or a cult whose purpose has never been revealed. In an inscription on the machine, one reads the phrase, "With a planetary in conjunction, the fate of man is affected." Was this an ancient way of speaking about astrology, or a cosmic science misunderstood by later generations? The machine, the spirit, and destiny. If Antikythera is viewed as more than a device, scientific, but a sacred instrument, the perspective changes. Some scholars believe that the device was used not just for measuring, but for prophecy, ritual, or communicating heaven's will. Because of its ability to predict eclipses, Antikythera could signal divine times, when the Earth, Sun, and Moon respond in unison and seek each other out. In some ancient texts, the device is referred to as the Cosmicidian, meaning map of the universe. Some believe that this was the original name for Antikythera. It may have been placed in the Temple of Apollo, used to determine ritual and prophetic cycles. And if so, who was the last person to use the mechanism? What did they foresee that forced them to take it on a runaway ship? Time is cracked, and we're seeing a fragment. All of this, from the technology beyond time, to the extraordinary astronomical records, to the prophetic abilities, gives rise to an extreme hypothesis. Antikythera is a fragment of another timeline, a branch of humanity that has been broken off. Perhaps, at some juncture, humanity once went very far technologically, but because of war, disease, or some cosmic reason, that timeline was wiped out, and Antikythera is the only remnant left floating in the current timeline. That's why it doesn't fit with the rest of history, because it doesn't belong to this history. A forgotten message from the future? If that hypothesis is correct, then Antikythera is more than just a device. It's a warning, a forgotten message. Humans once knew, and then they also lost. When you look at those rotating gears, do you hear a familiar sound? It is not just metal moving. It is the whisper of dormant knowledge, calling us to rediscover what has been hidden by the flow of history. Chapter 3, Inside the Brain of the Stars. There's a question that everyone who sees Antikythera must whisper in their mind. How does it really work? For those rusty gears, eroded by the sea over millennia, still contain a terrifying mechanical intelligence. Intelligence from an age that should have had only leather straps, spears, and rickety chariots. And yet inside that ancient shell is a mechanical brain able to think and predict in ways that only modern supercomputers can. This chapter is the anatomy, not of a living creature, but of the world's oldest mechanical creature. The calculating gears. The Antikythera Mechanism, when reconstructed using modern technology, reveals a mind-bogglingly complex system. More than 30 bronze gears, each with a unique number of teeth, designed not at random, but based on precise astronomical proportions. Round pushpin, the front dial, shows the position of the sun and moon in the zodiac, with a hand indicating the day and month of the year, like a cosmic clock. Round pushpin, the back dial, is where things get magical. It consists of two main rings. One follows the Metonic cycle, 19 years or 235 lunar months. This cycle is the basis for the lunisolar calendars of many civilizations. The other shows the Saros cycle, 18 years and 11 days, which was used to predict solar and lunar eclipses with astonishing accuracy. You may ask, how do the ancients know about such precise astronomical cycles without telescopes? Did they possess a lost observation technology? The moon is in retrograde, a mechanism that hacks the laws of astronomy. What surprised scientists the most was a gear called the lunar gear, which simulates the uneven movement of the moon around the Earth. According to Kepler, the moon moves in an elliptical orbit with an uneven speed. But that design was not discovered by modern science until the 17th century. Yet Antikythera, more than 1,700 years ago, had a pair of eccentric gears to recreate this phenomenon. Our glass knot on the machine doesn't just rotate, it simulates the irregularities of the universe. This is no longer an astronomical toy. It is a miniature cosmic brain, knowing how to operate the cycles of the sun, the moon, and even the gods in the night sky. The hands of the clock lead back into the past or the future. A hand on the dial can be manually turned to simulate the positions of celestial bodies on any given day, past or future. Just turn the main wheel and you can know the date of the next total solar eclipse, when the full moon coincides with the winter solstice, when the planets conjunction, a phenomenon once considered a divine or calamity. It is a feature that is almost like mental time travel. Space and time, in the hands of the ancients, are compressed into this metal box. Ancient code, the writing on the machine. One of the most creepy things is not the gears, but the tiny lines of writing engraved on the bronze surfaces. Using modern microscopes and light-transmitting technology, experts discovered more than 2,000 ancient Greek characters were engraved. The contents include instructions for use, astronomical warnings, names of ancient Olympic sites, and eclipse predictions with both color and human impact. For example, one inscription reads that a total solar eclipse in the east will bring disease and war. We're talking about a machine that not only predicts, but also interprets the universe in the way ancient astrologers did. Astrolabe, or compass of the soul. In many Greek legends, the stars were not just celestial bodies, but gods incarnate, maps of human destiny. Some scholars believe that Antikythera was used as a multidimensional astrological device, where high priests used it to choose when to make a sacrifice, accuse or abdicate, start a war or sign a treaty. Like Egyptian temples or the pyramids, the Antikythera mechanism may have been the eye of the gods, peering through the atmosphere into the will of the universe. The black box of a lost civilization. Some modern mechanical engineers, after reconstructing the Antikythera model with CNC machines, had to admit, it took us months to recreate it, even with modern technology. How did the ancients do it with just chisels and knives? Is there an ancient mechanical learning system with micromachining technology, synchronized transmissions, and mechanical computer design? If Antikythera was a computer, then who wrote the software for it? What numbers do they know? Do they have any idea of binary, logarithms, or even calculus? The scariest thing is, we don't know. We just know that it exists, but we don't know why, where, or how. Antikythera and the silence of the stars. Here is the cold truth. Antikythera is unique. There are no copies, There are no clear records. There are no successors. While structures like the pyramids or the Great Wall have technical and cultural descendants, Antikythera is like a mechanical meteorite falling into the stream of history, leaving no trace of where it came from. It is as if someone or something deliberately left clues, then erased the rest. Provisional conclusion, sealed wisdom. The Antikythera Mechanism, after 3 chapters of analysis, is no longer an archaeological artifact. It is physical evidence that humanity once knew more than we thought. A key to seeing what was lost. A giant question hanging over the past. If Antikythera is the brain of the stars, who programmed it? That question will lead us to the next chapter, where a journey into the true origins and purpose of the mechanism will unfold. Chapter 4. In search of ancient hands, who built Antikythera? If Antikythera was an ancient computer, who wrote the first line of code? Who touched the first piece of bronze, plotting each gear with such incredible precision? In this chapter, we are not just searching for a person, but for an intelligence, a civilization, or even a secret society that has disappeared from human history. The wind-driven map, clues from the sunken ship. The story begins with where the Antikythera was found, a ship sunk to the bottom of the Aegean Sea, covered in moss and limestone for thousands of years. According to archaeological surveys, the ship was carrying ancient Greek bronze and marble statues, jewelry, wine vessels, and religious objects. The burned scrolls, now only ashes, still bear signs of ancient Greek script. This shows that the ship was not simply a means of transporting goods. It was like a mobile treasure trove of knowledge, possibly on the run from some force or trying to bring that knowledge to a secret place. And the Antikythera, that strange machine, was not a piece of goods, but the heart of the ship. Alexandria, city of light and secrets. Many hypotheses suggest that the machine was built in Alexandria, the capital of knowledge of the ancient world. This place used to have the legendary Library of Alexandria, where millions of books and knowledge of Egypt, Babylon, Greece, Persia were kept. Here, geniuses such as Archimedes, the father of mechanics and levers; Hipparchus, the pioneer astronomer, who is said to have discovered the Saros cycle; Poseidonius, the mysterious philosopher, wrote about a celestial machine that calculates the motions of the stars. If Alexandria had a society dedicated to studying the motions of the universe, they may well have built Antikythera as a miniature model of the celestial body, a mechanical heart of the universe. And if so, the fire of the Library of Alexandria in the 3rd century BC was not just a historical disaster, but a deliberate purge of knowledge. Ancient Greek secret societies. A dramatic hypothesis. Antikythera was the product of an ancient secret society, similar to the Pythagoreans, who believed that all life, all matter, was a manifestation of numbers and geometry. These groups often transmitted knowledge orally or through codes, hiding from the public eye, avoiding the eyes of the government or the church, believed that the universe operates in cycles and can be deciphered by artificial means. The Antikythera Mechanism may have been the end product of a secret knowledge, kept secret for generations and passed down only to the chosen ones. If so, the ship carrying the Antikythera was not a merchant ship, but a vessel carrying an artifact of knowledge, and it never reached its destination. The hand of Archimedes? One of the most popular theories is that Archimedes, a brilliant mathematician, may have laid the foundations for the technology that created Antikythera. According to the historian Cicero, Archimedes once created a device called a sphera, a model of the movements of the celestial bodies. Cicero described it in a letter. I have seen a device made by Archimedes, which simulates the motions of the moon and the sun. When you turn the handle, you see the stars move in exactly the same way. A suspicious description, too similar to Antikythera. If this machine was indeed connected to Archimedes, then it is possible that he or his students were the first programmers of this cosmic computer. Ancient aliens? You can't do a mystery chapter without the most exciting element, the extraterrestrial hypothesis. Some unorthodox researchers, like Eric von Daniken, suggest that the Antikythera Mechanism is a relic of extraterrestrial technology, or it is a tool to transmit knowledge from ancient star priests who landed on Earth thousands of years ago. This hypothesis is based on the following factors: a level of mechanical engineering far beyond its time, the ability to accurately predict cosmic events that modern science has difficulty with, modular design, as a device that can be updated, something that classical mechanical machines never had. Although not recognized by the mainstream scientific community, this hypothesis is still a mirror to human arrogance, that perhaps at one time we were taught and then forgot what we once knew. Ancient hand erased. There's a detail that makes everyone shiver. There is no name or sign of the machine's creator. No signature, no personal symbol, no logo like the medieval craftsmen used to leave behind. Just anonymous instructions and silent gears. That raises three chilling possibilities. Their creators were not allowed to leave a trace. They feared something greater, so they chose absolute anonymity. They were not human, at least not as we understand them. A quiet moment in history. Perhaps Antikythera was an accident of history. A small hole in the wall of time where the wisdom of a civilization, be it Greek, Egyptian, or something else beyond imagination, slipped from human memory. It was the last whisper before the world plunged into a dark age of centuries, where knowledge was burned, science was declared heresy, and gears were replaced with swords. Open-ended, and opens up a larger question. We still don't know who built the Antikythera Mechanism, but this chapter does suggest one thing. We are on the trail of a higher intelligence, one that once existed and then vanished without a word. The question now is not just who made it, but also, why didn't they leave anything else behind? What are they hiding from us? And are they still watching us from somewhere in the universe? Chapter 5. The Machine and the Shadows. Conspiracy, concealment, and the disappearance of knowledge. Imagine, you hold a device that can predict solar eclipses, lunar eclipses, astronomical cycles for decades, with near-perfect accuracy. Now, what would you do? Would you share it with humanity, or keep it as a weapon of power? That question, seemingly philosophical, haunts Antikythera's entire journey. The machine is more than an astronomical tool. It is a key to knowledge, threatening the balance of power. And that is what makes it mysteriously disappear from history. The strange disappearance of Antikythera technology. After Antikythera was built, estimated to be around 150 BC, no similar device was recorded for nearly 1,000 years. Why? No manual, no successors, no improved versions, no similar inventions. It's as if the creator is erased from the timeline. Not because they failed, but because they went too far, dangerously so. Knowledge purges in history. There have been many periods in history where knowledge has been intentionally burned, buried, or erased from collective memory. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Fire the burning of the Library of Alexandria, c. 48 BC, 270 AD. Millions of scrolls were destroyed, including astronomical studies, mechanics, ancient maps, and cosmological theories. It is thought that Antikythera-like works may have been among them. Dagger the fall of the Roman Empire. As Rome declined, engineers, craftsmen, and philosophers were dispersed or accused of witchcraft. Mechanical secrets, such as differential gears, power transmission mechanisms, disappeared from the technical record for centuries. Church, the Middle Ages, when knowledge was taboo. Astronomical instruments, ancient maps, chronometers were considered heretical. Scholars were burned at the stake for communicating with the devil if they spoke of celestial movements. Was Antikythera the first victim of this great purge of knowledge? A device so advanced that those in power had to destroy it to protect their rule? The power of controlling the sky. In the ancient world, anyone who could predict a solar eclipse, a lunar eclipse, or the seasons had almost divine power. People saw an eclipse, thought the gods were angry. But if a king or priest predicted the event, they were revered as supernatural beings. The Antikythera Mechanism. which predicted solar eclipses according to the Saros cycle, could be used as a psychic weapon, manipulating the beliefs of the masses. You could manipulate an entire civilization just by knowing when the sun would disappear. Whoever had the device would never want to share it, and if it leaked, they would erase all traces. Signs of ancient censorship. Some modern scholars have noticed that ancient Greek texts related to astronomical mechanics are often interrupted, garbled, or have incomprehensible omissions. For example, Hipparchus, a pioneer in astronomy, wrote the Table of the Stars and the eclipse cycle, but the entire original work has disappeared. Poseidonius, a description of a machine for predicting the heavens. No original manuscript exists. Archimedes, his celestial mechanics, only has a few excerpts left, as if someone deliberately erased the most detailed description. It is possible that the manuscripts containing information about the Antikythera Mechanism were systematically destroyed to prevent them from being copied, improved, or questioned. Guardians of knowledge, secret society, or ruling power. Another intriguing hypothesis. There is a secret organization existing for centuries that collects and conceals technologies beyond our time. Ancient Illuminati, remaining guardians of Atlantis knowledge, the inheritors of ancient Babylonian and Egyptian knowledge, living anonymously in the course of history. If such a group existed, would they have had a reason to hide Antikythera or to move it when the fateful ship sank? And when it was accidentally found in 1901, was someone watching? The invisible enemy, time and oblivion. There is no need for a dark force. The greatest enemy of knowledge is time. The chaos after the wars. The loss of generations of scholars. The transition from oral to written culture, then burned. And finally, natural oblivion. Perhaps Antikythera was not hidden, but simply buried in the sea of oblivion, waiting for millennia to be excavated again. A warning to us. Knowledge left unprotected will be erased. How many secrets are still hidden? If Antikythera was an accidental discovery, then how many other machines lie at the bottom of the sea? How many manuscripts have never been opened? How many treasures of knowledge lie dormant in the earth, hidden by those who know its value and fear that humanity is not ready to understand? End of chapter. And a whisper in the dark. This chapter is not just AI is about a machine, which is a mirror of humanity's fear of its own knowledge. The closer we get to the truth, the thicker the darkness. And Antikythera, more than a machine, is the buried seed of a civilization lost or forced to retreat. Gears decoding. Modern discoveries reveal the secrets of the machine, where modern science shines a light on the dust of time, millennia thick, to unveil one of the greatest mysteries of ancient civilization. Magnifying Last Tilted Left Chapter 6. Gears decoding. Modern discoveries reveal the secrets of the machine. Imagine a mechanical machine buried at the bottom of the sea for 2,000 years, now being explored by 21st century scientists using CT scanners, X-rays, 3D scanning technology, and even artificial intelligence to, little by little, unlock its ancient metal brain. Rusty gears, blurred characters, all begin to tell a story that history itself dares not tell. The resurrection from the rusty shell. When the Antikythera Mechanism was raised in 1901, it was a jagged mass of bronze, broken into more than 82 pieces, many as small as bottle caps. Most thought just a pile of ancient scrap. But it wasn't until more than half a century later that a new perspective emerged. In 1951, Derek J. de Solla Price, a British physicist, a lover of mechanics, antiquities, and conspiracy theories, began to see something amiss. He realized the gears in Antikythera cannot be random. This is a device with a clear design and extremely sophisticated. X-rays and the anatomy of time. In 1971, together with Greek physicist Charalampos Karakalos, Price conducted an X-ray scan of all the Antikythera fragments. The result, they saw more than 30 gears connected to each other in sophisticated rotating shafts, meshed with teeth so small that they could be misaligned by a few hundredths of a millimeter. Someone more than 2,000 years ago had the ability to make gears as thin as a razor, cut as precisely as a Swiss watch. The amazement began to spread. 3D modeling and technological breakthroughs. At the beginning of the 21st century, the Antikythera Mechanism Research Project, AMRP, a team of scientists from the UK, Greece, and the US, used a state-of-the-art X-Tech Systems 450 kV microfocus CT scanner. What they saw was more than just gears. They saw concentric rings, Greek symbols engraved on the case, a numerology system based on the Babylonian astronomical cycle, and especially a gear that reverses the rotation direction, a detail that could not have existed in ancient times, if we believe history. Forgotten blueprint. After reconstructing with 3D technology, researchers determined that the machine consists of 37 bronze gears, a front-side displays, solar cycle, zodiac constellations, moon position, full moon, crescent moon phase. A backside contains Meton cycle, 19 years, Saros cycle, 18 years 11 days, to predict solar and lunar eclipses, Callippic cycle, 76 years, to correct errors, Exeligmos cycle, 54 years, to increase the accuracy of eclipse prediction. The machine is not only a cosmic clock, but also a multi-layered astronomical calendar based on the combination of ancient Babylonian, Greek, Egyptian knowledge. 6.5 Mysterious moon, unique moon phase mechanism. What surprised scientists the most? Antikythera had an eccentric gear to simulate the elliptical orbit of the moon. This is evidence that the ancient Greeks knew that the moon did not rotate in a uniform circle, but changed its speed depending on its position. This is an extraordinary astronomical mechanical concept, which Europe had to wait until Kepler, 17th century, to rediscover. The machine also has indicators for black moon and blood moon, phenomena associated with omens, prophecies, and ancient rituals. 6.6 Inscriptions hidden under modern light. Thanks to polarized light technology, the research team has deciphered more than 3,400 microscopic engraved characters, many of which are only 1.2 millimeters high, written like an instruction manual. Among them are passages such as, when the moon meets the sun in the 223rd cycle, an eclipse will occur. In the year of Meton IX, the conjunction of the stars will bring about change. This is not just a scientific tool, but a map of the destiny of the universe, where ancient people tried to understand the connection between celestial bodies and human destiny. Complete reconstruction when science revives antiquities. Since 2012, a series of replica models have been created by engineers, watch designers, and mechanics. Some of the amazing versions. Michael Wright, UK, created a working metal version, complete with dial and astronomical indications. Tony Freeth and the UCL team, UK, reconstructed a digital 3D model, allowing rotation, lookup, and simulation of cycles like a real machine. Greek team Hublet, creating a high-end version in titanium, functioning as a wristwatch. These reconstructions not only confirm the accuracy of the machine, but also reveal many new details never seen before in ancient history. Unanswered questions. Although modern technology has revealed many secrets, there are still dark corners that no one can touch. Who really built Antikythera? Was it a lone genius or a secret society of ancient sages? How many other versions existed? Why was this technology not inherited? And is this a legacy that remains from a prehistoric civilization like Atlantis? Chapter End. When the gears speak. The Antikythera Mechanism is more than just a strange object. It is a living testimony to a lost knowledge, a whisper from the past that we once understood the universe in a way that far exceeded our present. And as the gears begin to turn again, time is no longer the enemy. It becomes the narrator. The big hypotheses: Atlantis, aliens, or lost civilization. In this chapter, we delve into the mysterious and controversial theories surrounding the Antikythera Mechanism, where science and myth begin to collide in an incredible way. Milky Way, Chapter 7. The big hypotheses: Atlantis, aliens, or lost civilization. The Antikythera Mechanism is a revolutionary discovery, but it is also a double-edged sword. The deeper we dig, the more we realize that its very sophistication beyond its time is what makes us wonder. Did ancient humans really invent it? Or is there something more mysterious at work? Atlantis, aliens, lost civilization. These unanswered questions may be the key to understanding this mysterious mechanism. Atlantis, the lost legacy. Starting with Plato, who described Atlantis as a superior civilization, destroyed in a great flood around 9000 BC. There have been countless theories about the true location of Atlantis, from the Caribbean, the Mediterranean, to Antarctica. But a very interesting question: what does Atlantis have to do with Antikythera? If this civilization really existed and developed, they may have created Antikythera, a magical astronomical instrument of the ancient world. Some scholars argue that Antikythera may be the remaining legacy of Atlantis, a testament to an understanding of the universe that we cannot imagine. A civilization that was once capable of creating such amazing tools. Could it have been wiped out from the timeline? If Atlantis was the birthplace of the mechanism, it is possible that their knowledge of astronomy and mechanics was lost with their fall. The story of Atlantis is one of humanity's oldest myths, but the Antikythera Mechanism may be just the missing piece in the puzzle of a forgotten civilization. Aliens, supernatural intervention, if not the work of ancient humans. Could Antikythera have been a gift from extraterrestrial beings? It is a provocative and controversial theory, but there is no denying that such a technology would make anyone wonder. Could humans have developed such advanced technology on their own at that time? In the world of alien conspiracy theories, many believe that such amazing technologies, like Antikythera, could not have been the product of human intelligence. They argue that an alien civilization with superior technology may have temporarily shared knowledge with ancient humans. Antikythera's foreign signs, intricate design, and microscopic gear technology. This would have been unbelievable to the engineers of the time. Complex astronomical cycles. Some researchers believe that the cycles that Antikythera simulated were not human observations, but rather data given to them by an extraterrestrial source. Extremely high precision. Calculating the Saros, Metonic, and Exoligmo cycles required an extremely deep understanding of astronomy that is difficult to explain through conventional observation. Proponents of this theory believe that Antikythera is evidence that we have been contacted by an advanced alien civilization, one that may have shared this knowledge as a gift or even as a form of experiment. Erased civilization, the forces that hide knowledge. Another, more frightening theory is that the Antikythera Mechanism was not the work of a superior civilization or aliens, but a hidden legacy of an ancient civilization, perhaps one that was deliberately wiped out. It is possible that a civilization that was technologically and intellectually superior was ostracized, erased, or even controlled through intellectual purges, similar to what we have seen throughout human history. Notable examples: the cultural boycott in the Roman Empire, where knowledge was lost or controlled to maintain power. The Middle Ages, where the study of astronomy was considered heresy. If Antikythera was a product of this civilization, then it is possible that its owners deliberately hid it or put it at the bottom of the sea so that no one else could exploit its knowledge. The civilization may have developed such technologies, but with nefarious intentions, such as using them to manipulate other cultures or impose control. So when this civilization collapsed, it may have decided to erase all evidence of its achievements, including this mechanism. Conclusion: the mystery remains unsolved. All three theories, Atlantis, aliens, and the erased civilization, leave us with the big question. Could the Antikythera Mechanism be just a part of is it part of a larger story that we cannot yet fully understand? Each gear, each mark engraved on the dial of Antikythera is not only evidence of an ancient civilization, but also evidence of great forces or events that we can never fully uncover. One thing is certain: Antikythera is not an ordinary story. It is part of a larger mystery, a story that time will continue to write until the mysteries are revealed. End of chapter. With such grand hypotheses, we must continue to search for answers to the remaining mysteries. Is Antikythera one of the evidences for the existence of a lost civilization or a trace of alien beings? Whatever it is, this machine still holds a secret that can completely change the way we understand human history. Applications of Antikythera in the modern world, where we will explore how this ancient mechanism has influenced today's technology and its possible applications in the future. Gear, Chapter 8, Applications of Antikythera in the Modern World. When the Antikythera mechanism was discovered in the early 20th century, no one could have imagined that it would become a symbol of progress and a profound insight into the engineering capabilities of ancient humans. However, with the advancement of science and technology in the 21st century, this mechanism has begun to open new doors, helping us to reevaluate ancient technology and the future of modern mechanical systems. So, can this mechanism have practical applications in today's world? Can the principles and designs of Antikythera be applied to modern advanced technologies? Let's find out. 8.1 Sophisticated mechanical design. Inspiration from modern technology. One of the most remarkable features of Antikythera is its gear system and transmission mechanism. The sophistication in the way the gears are connected to each other, as well as the precise mechanical structure it possesses, is a feat of engineering that no one could have imagined at the time. In the modern world, studying and understanding the gear mechanisms of Antikythera can provide valuable lessons for fields such as mechanical watchmaking and smartwatches. Antikythera's microscopic gear design can be an inspiration for high-end watch technologies, from mechanical watches to modern smartwatches, as the requirements for precision and durability become increasingly high. Automatic control systems. The complex gearing mechanisms of Antikythera could be an excellent model for today's automatic control systems, where gears are combined with intelligent control software to adjust devices precisely and efficiently. A notable application is the design of drives in automated factories, where precision gears could replace complex electronic systems to create high efficiency in production. 8.2 Antikythera and its applications in modern astronomy. Although the Antikythera mechanism was built to predict astronomical phenomena in the past, its basic concepts and technologies can be applied in modern astronomical instruments. In particular, the Antikythera astronomical cycle model can help clarify some theories in the study of long-term astronomical cycles, such as the Metonic cycle, 19 years, or the Saros cycle, 18 years and 11 days. Important events in predicting solar and lunar eclipses. Modern astronomers can take advantage of the computational principles from Antikythera to improve astronomical predictions, especially for less observed natural phenomena, such as the appearance of supernovae or black holes. In addition, Antikythera's ability to determine the positions of planets and constellations can also support modern space missions, especially in the positioning and navigation of spacecraft. 8.3 Impact on the fields of mechanics and robotics. The sophistication of the gear mechanism in Antikythera can also influence the mechanical and robotic industries. The application of complex gear mechanisms in modern machine design will help improve the efficiency of moving parts in automated mechanical systems, robots, and modern medical instruments. Robotics and AI technology can be improved by applying the principles of precision mechanical motion of Antikythera to create smoother and more precise operating systems. For example, in the development of space exploration robots or surgical robots, this ancient machine will provide the basic theory to control moving parts precisely. 8.4 Antikythera Mechanism in the field of financial technology. A rather surprising field is financial technology. Antikythera, with its ability to calculate precise astronomical cycles and events, can be applied to complex financial algorithms, especially in predicting stock markets or currency fluctuations. The Antikythera cycle calculation model can be used in financial data analysis systems, helping to predict market fluctuations, identifying events that affect the value of currencies or assets. This can create automated financial analysis systems based on time and cycle factors, helping investors make quick and accurate decisions. 8.5 The Antikythera Mechanism and the Future of AI and Machine Learning. The most promising application of Antikythera in the future is the combination of artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning. The complex mechanisms in the machine can become part of a deep learning AI system, in which algorithms will learn to optimize cycles and events to predict future factors. Researchers can build an AI system that simulates Antikythera, learn to analyze complex relationships between astronomical elements, and apply them to predictions in areas such as meteorology, renewable energy, and disaster forecasting. 8.6 Antikythera and its impact on modern culture and education. In addition to its technological applications, the Antikythera mechanism has had a profound impact on modern culture and education. Schools and research institutes can use the mechanism to introduce technological advances in ancient civilizations, while also providing important lessons on the application of mathematics and astronomy to mechanical designs. The mechanism will become a model in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education, showing students that science is not just about theories, but can be applied practically to solve problems in life. 8.7 Conclusion. The Antikythera Mechanism, a living legacy. The applications of Antikythera in the modern world go far beyond the study of ancient mechanical mechanisms. The mechanism has opened up a treasure trove of knowledge that today's technology can tap into to develop new advances in the fields of astronomy, mechanics, robotics, finance, and education. With each new step forward in technology, Antikythera is not only a testament to the amazing capabilities of ancient humans, but also a model for the combination of classical science and modern technology, leading us to new discoveries about the universe and humanity itself. The Unstoppable Journey, Antikythera and the Future of Civilization, where we look to the future and assess the impact of this mechanism on human civilization. Flying Saucer, Chapter 9, The Unstoppable Journey, Antikythera and the Future of Civilization. Since the discovery of the Antikythera mechanism, questions about its origin and purpose have continued to haunt us. Is it a testament to a lost civilization, or is it simply a product of ancient human wisdom beyond the framework of its time? When we study Antikythera, we are not only discovering an astronomical instrument, but also a symbol of humanity's endless thirst for knowledge, reaching out to the unexplored. So, how can Antikythera help us envision a future? And could it lead us to new discoveries about the universe, about ourselves? The Antikythera mechanism and the next technological revolution. Antikythera is a clear demonstration that human creativity and intelligence know no bounds. Despite being over 2,000 years old, the mechanism remains one of the most sophisticated inventions we have ever seen, reminding us that we are only scratching the surface of our technological potential. So, could it lead us to a new technological revolution? Modern astronomy may continue to learn from the principles demonstrated by Antikythera, expanding our understanding of the universe. Sophisticated mechanical systems could be the foundation for future robotics and AI automation, with precise gears and drives, combined with smarter algorithms, leading to unprecedented advances in fields such as medicine, weaponry, and autonomous transportation. By combining classical science with modern technology, we could create a world where technology not only serves humans, but also leads us to greater discoveries about the world around us. Antikythera and the importance of preserving knowledge. One of the most powerful messages that Antikythera brings is the importance of preserving knowledge. In today's world, where information and technology are developing at a dizzying pace, preserving precious knowledge from the past is more important than ever. This mechanism reminds us that perhaps, in the past, humans have made discoveries and understandings far beyond what we can imagine. We must learn to protect and share that knowledge, lest we repeat the mistakes of lost civilizations. This opens a call for the next generations to discover, preserve, and pass on knowledge to the future, so that what we are building will not be forgotten, but will be the foundation for the development of humanity in the centuries to come. Antikythera, and the hope of a sustainable civilization. The Antikythera Mechanism is not only a product of ancient technology, but also a symbol of a dream of eternal understanding. Although we cannot yet decipher all its mysteries, each new discovery brings us closer to understanding the universe and humanity's place in it. By deepening our connections with ancient civilizations, we can build a sustainable civilization where knowledge and technology continue to grow, but always with the core values of respect, sharing, and resource conservation in mind. Antikythera is a metaphor for this process. From ancient technologies to the challenges and opportunities of the modern world, everything must be evaluated thoughtfully and responsibly. This is the final lesson that the mechanism gives us. Unanswered questions, unsolved mysteries. Although we have gained valuable information from studying the Antikythera Mechanism, there are still countless unanswered questions. The mechanism still holds profound secrets, which we may not be able to fully understand at this time. Was the technology that created Antikythera really ancient? Have we missed out on a great civilization that once existed, leaving an indelible mark on history? Why did such technology disappear for thousands of years, only to suddenly appear in the modern world? These questions continue to challenge us, pushing us further in our journey to discover the nature of man and the universe. Conclusion: the Antikythera Mechanism, an eternal symbol. The Antikythera Mechanism is more than just an ancient tool. It is a symbol of perseverance, wisdom, and the never-ending quest for knowledge. With each new discovery, we gain a deeper understanding of the nature of man, a species that never stops dreaming, never stops searching. The journey of Antikythera has taken us from the distant past to the unknown future. We have learned a lot from this mechanism, and it will continue to lead us down unprecedented paths, opening up discoveries never imagined. Surely, the Antikythera Mechanism will always remain in our minds, not only as a legacy of a lost civilization, but also as a reminder of the limitless capacity of humans to overcome all limits to conquer the universe. Conclusion: Antikythera, an ancient tool, a feat of human intelligence, and an undeniable testament to our thirst for discovery. The journey to understand it is not over, and may continue to open up wonderful secrets in the future. No matter what, we will never stop searching, because this journey is not only about Antikythera, but also about ourselves, humans, with their constant desire to explore, understand, and progress. So we have completed our journey of discovering the Antikythera Mechanism, from its historical mysteries to its modern technological applications and the unknown future. Hope you have been fascinated and excited throughout this journey.